let's take a sneak peek into the 49ers 2023 season. The schedule isn't out yet, but the opponents have been finalized, and the road trips are final. So let's go through the opponents first, and I want you to give me your instant reaction to who the Niners are facing next year. Let's start off with the home games. Obviously, there's the division, the NFC West, which isn't as good as it used to be, but outside of the division,
hold on about the NFC
we'll talk about
West.
That. We'll come back to that. Okay,
but I want to say one thing.
Yeah,
they got 2 teams in the playoffs.
It's true.
As crummy as that division is, they really got 2 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, and Seattle has a top 5 pick next year, so they'll be better. Maybe the Rams will be better next year if they have fewer injuries. And I don't know about the Cardinals, but that's 2 teams that could be better. Okay. So here are the other teams the Niners are playing at home. Dallas.
That's an interesting game, but we're going to learn a lot about Dallas in the next few weeks. They have a very good quarterback, but sometimes they flop, and they have a bad coach. They have a bad coach.
That's the thing. They could fly. They could lose first round of the playoffs, fire that coach, bring in Sean Payton. They could be a whole different team next year.
Yes,
or a different coaching staff. Okay, New York Giants. That's another playoff team that's on the rise. They look like they're a year ahead of schedule.
The Niners would beat that team
right now. Yeah, absolutely.
Under any circumstances, the Niners would beat that team.
Baltimore.
If they have their quarterback.
Who's hurt a lot.
Here's the thing. They're fluky.
Yeah.
I don't like the quarterback because he's not a natural thrower, but he's dangerous. I don't like that team. I would say, you know what? If they were to play Lamar, I think the Niners would hurt him. I think they'd knock him out of the game. Yeah. I can see what you mean. I don't know if you want to run that much against Dre Green. No, they hurt him.
Okay, Cincinnati.
That's a tough game.
Yes, tough game.
I would say, what we used to say in boxing, it's a pick 'em either way. Yeah. I'd say that's a pick 'em.
Could be. And then finally, Tampa. I don't know if Brady's going to be there, though.
Forget Tampa.
And even if he is, who freaking cares?
Yeah, forget Tampa.
On the road, D.C.
Forget them.
Pittsburgh.
No, they're a mediocre team, a well-coached mediocre team.
It's true. Cleveland.
Oh, with this quarterback who was a dud. I'd say no, not a threat.
Jacksonville. Playoff team.
They're on the rise.
They are.
I'm going to call that an interesting game.
We'll see what they add in the offseason. Yeah. Minnesota.
Oh, I don't like them, Miggy. I don't like Kirk Cousins. I don't like them. You know what they are? There's a team. They're a team that'll do well and then flop at the crisis moment. I don't like them at all. I don't like them.
Yeah, I'm with you. Final one, Philly.
Whoa.
Yeah.
If that Hurts plays, he's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Pick him.
So that's a tough schedule.
Game. Yeah, it's a tough schedule.
Yeah. But again, we thought that this – what?
Do you think Phillies pick him?
Yeah, right now. I mean, the teams are going to change. We'll see what happens in free agency in the draft. But, absolutely. Philly and the Niners are built similarly. They don't spend a lot of money on their quarterbacks. And so they have great rosters everywhere else. They spend on everything else. Philly's even cheaper at quarterback, so they have just a great roster. And the Niners have sort of stumbled on the same formula as well. So they're kind of mirror images.
Who's the coach in Philly?
Nick Sirianni. It's his second year. He's doing a great job.
And he's another coach who's doing a great job.
He's doing a great job. I mean, he's kind of in that Kyle Shanahan, Sean McDermott class as well. He could win the Super Bowl this year, and people be talking about him.
Yeah.
So another thing I wanted to talk about is when as a sports writer, when the schedule comes out and you know what the road trips are, you're already fantasizing about where you're going to dinner and ranking the road trips in terms of which ones you're looking forward to most. So let's rank them and explain to the people what we would be looking forward to in each place.
And let's include the NFC West.
Okay, so let me say the 8 places. So we got L.A., AZ, Seattle. Then we got Washington, D.C., Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Philly, Jacksonville, Minneapolis. Okay.
In terms of having a good time, and for me, it doesn't mean going out and picking up women at a bar. It means having a really nice dinner in a beautiful neighborhood and maybe going to a bar with some friends afterward, going with Scotty Osler, Annie Killian, something like that.
And maybe if you get on a Friday, maybe something you could do during the day just to experience the city. That's always fun too.
Right, to go to to a museum or see
something
a play
like that.
Or something.
Yeah.
So 2, I would eliminate right away. Jacksonville is no big deal.
I've never been to Jacksonville. From what I hear, it's very far. It's hard to get a direct flight. So right away, that sucks.
No, Jacksonville's out. And there was another one that was out. Name another one.
D.C.?
No, D.C.'s okay. Name them again.
Washington, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Philly, Jacksonville, Minneapolis.
Philly.
Philly.
Now, look, here's a funny thing about Philly. My brother, who died a few years ago, he lived outside of Philly on the main line. I went to college near Philly, so I'm very familiar with that. My sister, who's visiting now out here, lives outside of Philly in Bucks County. Iggy has 2 first cousins who live in Philly, my brother's sons. So we are very connected with Philly. But Iggy, it's a nothing. Philly is...
We went 4 years ago, right after I got engaged. We went to get the cheesesteaks in that public market. That was overrated. But we went to that, what's it called, Rittenhouse Square? Is that what it's called?
Rittenhouse Square.
That was really nice. And it's what I think is cool about Philadelphia is how old the city looks. Like it looks like it was built for horse and carriages. All the streets are really small and narrow. It looks like nothing out here on the West Coast.
And the homes are so old. They have plaques on them that they date from 17 so-and-so, 18. That part is very interesting. But Iggy, it's not a fun city to go to.
I'm interested because I didn't go last time, and I haven't really spent much time on my own. And it kind of strikes me as a little bit like Oakland in the sense of it's got like a blue collarish type feel to it. And there's like 7 or 8 cities like that in America. Detroit's like that. Baltimore's like that. Memphis is like that. New Orleans is like that. So in that sense, it might be kind of cool. It might feel a little bit like home. I'm interested in going to Philly next year. I'm intrigued. I want to do that one. I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do all of them.
Plus, you can see your cousins.
Right. Yes. Okay. So I'll say some other ones. Pittsburgh. Let's stay in.
Pittsburgh is great.
Pittsburgh's great.
Iggy and I have been to Pittsburgh together, and this is really clear. If you go to Pittsburgh, it'll remind you of San Francisco.
Yeah, they got the bridges. They got bridges.
The bridges. They have hills. They have water.
Yeah.
It's a underrated, wonderful American city. They have the Andy Warhol Museum there, which is a lot of fun. The baseball park can rival the one in San Francisco. That's how nice it is.
And the football stadium's right next to it. And it's gorgeous.
Pittsburgh.
It's open air. You can look across to downtown.
Iggy,
nice.
Tell what happened with Tom Sula in Pittsburgh.
So that was 2015. It was week 2. They had won week 1. Everyone was talking that he was doing well. They went to Pittsburgh. I think they gave up 49 points. I think they lost 49-18. Yeah. And it was just one of the biggest ass kickings I'd ever freaking seen. And after the game, it was like embarrassment in the losing locker room. And Tom Sula's walking around player to player, shaking their hand, saying, "Thank you very much for your effort today." And he went to Joe Staley.
Good job.
He went to Joe Staley, who'd been in the league like 8 years at that point. And Joe, like mid-handshake, was looking around like, "Are you guys seeing this shit? This is our head coach. He had like one of those grins on his face like, this is weird. This is awkward."
Yeah. And you knew right then and there that he didn't have it as a head coach. And Iggy, that's what I wrote that day. I didn't write about the game. I wrote that this was unprecedented. You're praising them for losing?
You're stupid. I remember
That's all you needed to know.
Yeah. Okay, Cleveland.
Cleveland is an up-and-coming city. They're the downtown where the football and the basketball and whatever they have in the baseball. I think it's called 4th Street. It reminds you of San Francisco. It used to be a dump, but it's really coming back. I've had wonderful times in Cleveland, and it's no longer a joke. It's a destination.
Yeah. Any place that has a nice downtown and the football stadium is in it, I like. Places where you have to choose: do I stay downtown or do I stay 20 miles out near the stadium, which is in the middle of nowhere? That's not fun. It's not my cup of tea.
Also, Philly, the stadium is in the middle of nowhere.
See, that's a problem. Pittsburgh, right downtown. You can walk to it.
Yep.
In fact, a lot of fans do. Cleveland, right downtown. Seattle.
I
love Seattle. Right downtown. So much fun. I mean, we'll get to the NFC West ones in a minute. But how about D.C.?
Oh, D.C. is very nice. You know, there are parts that are not nice, but Georgetown is great, and D.C. there's so much American history there, and in the downtown, great restaurants. It's a wonderful place to go, and it has great public transportation.
And so, even though they play in whatever Landover, Maryland, if you
were staying in D.C., it's a great city of the world.
Yeah, I haven't spent much time in D.C., so that'll be a lot of fun. Maybe
I'll make a trip with you. Maybe I'll make a trip with you next year.
That would be fun.
Minneapolis is a flat-out great city.
I was in Minneapolis this year. I loved it.
Yeah, it's very sophisticated. It's beautiful. They have a great theater, the Tyrone Guthrie Theater. It's among the great cities of America, Minneapolis.
It's
the
not
problem
that far away.
Is the weather. The weather is hard.
It's not that far away from Chicago, and it feels like it has a similar food scene as Chicago. As good. Anyway, I like Minneapolis. It's just you hope that they're playing. City. You hope that game's in September instead of December.
Right.
And then, of course, you got Seattle. Phenomenal.
Phenomenal city. Iggy and I have been there together so many times, and we've always had a good time.
Arizona.
Oh, well. Now, where the stadium is nothing. But we usually stay near Scottsdale because we're used to that from baseball spring training, and that area is wonderful. And we eat at one of the great American restaurants, Lon's, L-O-N', at the Hermosa Inn. And it's one of our favorites, along with the one in New Orleans, Commander's Palace.
Yep. Scottsdale's great. It's a lot of fun, especially for spring training. It's about 45 minutes away from Glendale, but it's better than staying in Glendale. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Because if you stay in Glendale, you might as well just fly in the morning of. You might as well not stay. It's nothing. It's just a stadium. Sorry for the 8 people who live in Glendale. But
it's a stadium in the middle of the desert.
Yeah. So better to stay in Scottsdale, and then L.A.
I don't like L.A., Iggy. I don't get it.
I like L.A., but they picked the wrong spot, man. I don't understand why you would. Nothing against Inglewood. Yeah.
I think it's dangerous there.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a place you can just walk around after the game at night and just it's not like that. It's not even just that it's dangerous. It's like you could have been downtown. You could have been places with, bar. You could have been in a downtown area with bars and restaurants and places to walk like Seattle. But instead you put it next to the airport? Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so now it's becoming the kind of trip where I almost feel like I want to fly in the morning of and leave the night of. You could do it, and I think that's what half the beat writers do at this point. Just fly in.
Yeah, because there's nothing there. The only problem with that is if you get fogged in Oakland, then you got a problem.
Yeah, yep, it's true. But, yeah, so that's how – the L.A. trip I was looking forward to it. I went to school down there. I got a cousin down there. I like Westwood. I like Hollywood. LAX is not a part of town that anyone really spends time in. So, but that's what it is. Oh well. Okay. Well, that's
other great road trips that are not on the schedule. New York, obviously, the 2 best road trips in America are New York and San Francisco, and number 3 is New Orleans.
Vegas was interesting. I went with you're a Vegas guy. I like Vegas, but I feel like it's the kind of place where it helps if you know someone. If you get the real insider VIP treatment. Otherwise, it just feels like you're getting taken advantage of constantly. So, I don't know. I don't know anyone in Vegas, so I don't really have that Goodfellas experience,
I know someone.
You know somebody. You know a guy.
I know a guy.